Trump has been threatening to bomb Iran for damn near a week straight now. And now those plans have moved on from threatening to bomb Iran to supposedly coming up with a plan to attack Iran's quote-unquote nuclear sites directly. And since Trump has gone from 0 to 100, threatening Iran out of nowhere, I have actually been rather confused. The reason I'm confused is because Trump woke up on a Sunday morning out of nowhere and saying, if y'all don't make a deal to denuclearize and promise to never put together a nuclear program in the future, then the US plans on preemptively bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. It isn't Trump's disdain for Iran and his constant hawkish rhetoric towards Iran that's confusing me. It's the fact that Trump doesn't seem to remember what his own director of national intelligence said. The DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, admitted that there is no intelligence whatsoever that leads the United States to believe that Iran has a nuclear weapons program.
Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
And crazier still, there was no evidence suggesting that they had planned on building one anytime soon. Which is wild, because that couldn't be me. Given everything that's going on in the Middle East right now, I would have been trying to take care of my people, but that's a different conversation. But my question to Trump would be, what nuclear facilities are you going to attack? Your DNI said they don't really exist. So are you just planning on bombing Iran and you're merely searching for an excuse to justify doing so? Because Trump is pounding his chest and screaming at Iran as if he wasn't the one who canceled the last deal that was on the table during his last administration. That wasn't Iran that backed out, it was Trump. And because of that, of course, Iran would be hesitant to negotiate because Trump has already proven that even if a deal was made, that he is likely to back out of it the moment it's convenient for him or someone creates a lie believable enough for him to back out. So now the real question remains, what is this actually about? Think about the last time the United States started building up its military presence in the Middle East while simultaneously lying, saying that they were going after someone's program of, weapons of mass destruction, only to invade their country and confirm what most people actually had already known at the time, that there weren't any. But that didn't stop the United States from invading Iraq, did it? And militarily and strategically, Iran is in a compromised position, unfortunately, because for the first time, they won't have their ally Syria to act as a buffer if Israel tries to jump into the fight. In fact, unfortunately, this time it would be the opposite. Israel and Syria would likely be going against Iran together. And Israel and the United States actually aren't faring all that well in the Red Sea against the Houthis. And that's largely because of the assistance Iran is providing. And truthfully speaking, if the Houthis did not have Iran supporting them, I'm not sure that they would be able to continue to hold down the fort in the Red Sea in the way that they've been able to in the last couple of years. And what's crazy is that this is basically putting Iran in a situation where it's almost a guarantee that they will have to go to war. Because no matter what position they take, it will be advantageous to both Israel and the United States. If they choose to not arm themselves, Israel can walk around the region, continuing to overthrow countries like they've been doing in Syria, like they've been trying to do in Lebanon, knowing that they're the only nuclear power and the only other power that could have achieved nuclear capability agreed to not do so under threat of the security of their nation. But if Iran doesn't sign the deal, then the US just got the excuse they need to try and commit regime change, start launching bombs into Iran, and know that Syria is now on the side of the United States and Israel has bases in Syria. so they can launch from there and help the United States in their offensive, which ultimately helps Israel achieve its greater Israel ambitions. So if I was Iran and I had to make a choice, I'm going to choose to protect myself however I need to, because you can't trust a word that comes out of Trump's mouth. You can't trust the United States, and Israel's coming after you next. Look at what they just did with Syria. This pro-peace president is trying to start this war. And it's probably his Zionist master sitting here.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes. The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. So I guess that doesn't include California, but includes Washington. But what it does, a third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now three nations. Not surprisingly, all three have been implicated in the past in terrorist activity using the clandestine means of terror and proxies. Three of these nations are developing nuclear weapons. This is not a hypothesis. It is fact.
Are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.